What's going on, guys? MystaSuga here, and today I am bringing you a Reviewtorial on the MISC Whole C. In this video, we're going to start off with a ship tour, take a look at some stats, recommended upgrades, and best use cases for the MISC Whole C. The Whole C is described by MISC as being unrivaled in profitability, and at the end of this Reviewtorial, I'm sure you'll agree. Thank you for clicking on my video. Now let's get into the ship tour. Before we step inside, let's take a look at the exterior first, which most notably features a telescopic cargo spindle that packs cargo blades able to transport some serious cargo, and 4 tractor beams all controlled from an engineering seat. There is only one ground level entrance, and that is this elevator right here. You know, I have to say I do like this elevator. Not only is it basically a perfect square, but only one destination, so it never takes you to the wrong floor. But we are now in the airlock. This is your docking port airlock. This is hard to talk about because this room's called the airlock. But then this is also called the airlock. Whatever. Pilot suit storage, engineer suit storage, navigator suit storage, and captain suit storage. And then some weapon storage past all of those. After we leave the airlock, see, it's also called the airlock. We have a shield generator right here. To the right takes us towards the rear of the ship, and to the left takes us to the bridge. Right here we have our captain's seat. Over there is the pilot seat and co-pilot seat. And behind all that, obviously a fire extinguisher, computer, radar, and then some computers with readings that hopefully one day will mean something. After that, we have a elevator here leading up to the habitation area. Once we get up here, we're immediately met with the engineer seat. And from this seat, we can, do all the things that a co-pilot could do, I guess. But then we also have access to our tractor beams from here. So let's enter upper rear tractor beam. And yeah, you have access to 4 of these. So there is one where I am, one directly below me, one right there, and one directly below that. And yeah, just hold F, right click, and you can select the one you want to get into. But that's pretty much it for the engineer seat. Over here we have the living quarters. Big table. I don't know how many peeps we can fit here. What is that? 6 peeps could all fit sitting down at the table. We also have a decent sized kitchen that can't do anything yet, but ideally will one day. Over here we have our bunk beds, so 4 people can all sleep in the living quarters. And through here we have personal storage. You get quite a bit of it, 1.35 SCUs, so I mean a whole bunch of junk can fit in there. And after that, the restroom. The restroom leaves a bit to be desired. After the raft, I am a critic of bathrooms, so just the toilet that comes out of the wall, very boring sink. You can't even, I don't know. It's just not good. There's no conditioner. This is just 2-in-1 body and hair. So, bit to be desired in the whole C bathroom. But that's pretty much it for the top floor of the front part of this part of the whole sea. We do have our evacuation pods and this guy here, which is labeled life support. I imagine we're supposed to put, a storage box in there, and that's where you keep your life support items, I suppose. But that kind of wraps up the front half of the ship. After that, we'll head through the cargo spindle. First, and to my knowledge, only sort of graphical error on this ship. But yeah. And then I guess it could be counted as 2, because once we go this far, it looks like that. But back here towards the engineering area, we have our engineering terminal, which is just a black screen now, but ideally by the end of the year it won't be. And our elevator. Go ahead and call this guy down to us. And he made it lickety split. So we're on the engineering floor right now. We'll head up to component access. Guess what this floor is about? So in here, we have all of our components. Not all of them, obviously. We saw the shield generator down there. But another shield generator. That's my quantum, I believe. Some power plants and whatnot. You get an escape pod as well back here. Oh. I didn't realize you could walk in here. I don't know what I thought this was. What is this? Am I missing a component? Battery component bay. I didn't even realize. Good to know. Hopefully some other whole sea owners just learned that this is here. But that pretty much wraps up the component access floor. Quick and easy. And up top we have airlock number 3 to my count. So through here, the engineer gets a bit of suit storage. And there's your airlock. It's labeled escape, which I find weird because, there's escape pods. I understand that, you can also escape here, but it's just, an airlock. I don't know. But that pretty much wraps up the ship tour for the whole sea. Now let's look at some stats. When looking at stats for the whole sea, we are most concerned with price. And as a pledge, that is warranted because the whole sea costs $500 in the pledge store. To purchase in-game, you will need 16.5 million AUEC, which is a bargain. Before we get into the money-making stuff, let's talk about some not-so-great stats. To no one's surprise, it's very slow, has a pitch-yaw roll of 16, 16, 25, and it's very tanky with 4 size 3 shields and 323,000 ship health. The pilot has access to 2 size 3 guns, and there are 2 remote turrets with the same loadout. The stat that makes up for all this mediocrity is of course its cargo capacity, at an astounding 4,608 SCUs. The quantum fuel quantity is also impressive at 8.6 SCUs. That wraps up all the stats worth mentioning. Now let's look at component upgrades. In my experience, there's only one component worth maybe changing on the whole sea, and that's your quantum drive. The TS2 is your fastest option, the Comma is your most fuel efficient option, and the Agni sits right in between the two. I think the correct choice here all comes down to preference and how comfortable you are with docking to refuel. I personally just stick with the stock quantum drive, the Comma. That wraps up my component recommendations. Now let's take a look at best use cases and some bug workarounds. When looking at best use cases for the whole sea, you have 2 options: commodity trading and Covalex contracts. Commodity trading involves purchasing commodities at one space station and selling them for profit at another. I don't like commodity trading myself due to risking my own money and only recommend it if you're an experienced whole sea pilot. My preferred money-making method is doing Covalex contracts. Covalex is the company that gives hauling contracts in Stanton, and in order to get to the whole sea contracts, you need to be at an experienced rank. These contracts have 4 main hubs: Terra Gateway, Pyro Gateway, Magnus Gateway, and Everest Harbor. Everest Harbor to Pyro is the shortest distance, however in my experience Everest Harbor is the buggiest of all the destinations, so I opt for Terra Gateway to Pyro Gateway. Another detail to pay attention to is the size of the delivery. On the smaller end, contracts will need around 2,800 SCUs delivered and around 4,500 on the larger end. I shoot for anything lower than 3,500 just to save on time. Once you have your whole sea in space and your contract accepted, pull up to the cargo loading docks and hail Terra Gateway Cargo. Before pulling in, look bottom left and extend your cargo spindle. I have a habit of pulling into this blue square as centered as possible and recommend you do the same. Once fully stopped, the blue square will disappear and cargo will begin to be loaded onto your cargo blades. You should have a progress bar with a timer on your windshield that you must pay no attention to. This timer is always wrong and you will know you're fully loaded when the blue box reappears. In order to complete the contract, head to your destination and follow the exact same steps. Be aware that once your whole sea is loaded, it handles like a bus. The first bug we're going to cover is the only one you can't really do anything about, which is when the cargo center that loaded you misses a box. When this happens, you're unable to fully complete the shipment and thus will receive 75% of the contract's payment. The frequency of this is honestly random. I've been able to submit a full contract 10 times in a row before and had days where like 10% of my deliveries were full. There are rumors of 4.3 fixing this and I sure do hope that's true. The next bug we'll cover is when you pull into your box and your cargo won't unload. Most of the time this is fixed by getting out of your seat. However, if that doesn't work, I recommend just going far enough away from the space station that your landing zone gets revoked and just request a box in another area of the cargo center. There's one last bug I'd like to cover, and this is when you go to deliver a shipment and it takes 1 or 2 boxes and then says cargo transfer complete. This is a glitch that, unfortunately, the only fix I know of is to destroy the ship and reclaim it. The last thing I'd like to cover is docking. When you go to land your whole sea at a space station, you will likely be assigned a docking port, and if that happens, you will see this UI pop up on your screen. Your goal is to get the pitch, yaw, and roll dots to turn green. If you're a beginner, I recommend not paying much attention to this and instead focus on finding your docking port. Once you locate it, make your way over and make sure you're facing the right direction by ensuring your roll dot is in the bottom right and your yaw is moving along its line. If the yaw dot is stuck to one side, that likely means you'll need to do a 180 in order to dock. Once you've made your way over to the docking port, use third person to align your airlock to the stations and press in. Once you're close enough, you will start the auto docking process. You can be far from perfect and the auto dock will do the rest for you. In order to undock, hail the station through your communications tab and then press Alt N. I'm not sure why it works like this, but this is how it works for me. Well, I've been MystaSuga. You have been great. If you made it this far, consider dropping me a like and a sub. Have a good one.